I am by trade a graphic designer and I work in social media. I build social media infrastructures and websites. I did so for Asbury Park Dinner Table and a few local businesses here. Uh, I have a couple of clients in Colorado now, which is really nice. Um, and it's always changing. I work freelance, uh, but I also did write a book, and I it's like a semi-autobiographical piece of prose and poetry. I'm really enjoying the all the TikTok shit. It's
You getting obsessed, girl?
what a weird app,
Yes.
man. What a weird app. It's a strange
It's
place to
not weird. It's actually the most extraordinary thing that's come around for
mm.
quite a while.
It's truly it's so accessible, with the exception of like them not having closed captions readily available. Like you have to have a third party app, but like anyone can use it. It's and get their message out there. And if you've got a good message, people will follow you. And
No,
it's
no, no. I mean, it's actually the most democratic thing that's happened in a long time.
mm.
Because
Up to and including the election.
right, well, especially because of the election. But I think Instagram's a little too kind of guarded, and the more people are showing on there their kind of best selves, and here people are just vulnerable.
It's nice.
You
It's
know.
not all a real bullshit, like
No, I
it's
mean, I've laughed, I've cried from people. Like
yep.
the people that come here because they don't have any other outlet is just like, wow.
And I think that because we're all so isolated in real life, that it's really
Yeah, no, no, it was definitely the perfect storm. I mean, it was definitely the gift that I think keeps on giving for me.
I love your TikTok.
I mean, I'm having the most fun ever. So, no, I mean, this has just been the kind of time that what are you going to make out of it? What are you going to do with it? How do you make, lemonade out of lemons? It's all the same thing. It's like such a life. For me, it's been a life lesson on how I can do something that means something when I could have easily gone into a depression because my film was not happening and boo-hoo and poor me.
It's not boohoo, you pour yourself into something and then something so massive and out of control of your control comes along, and the people who can control it are choosing not to. Yeah, it's fucking depressing. Like the ability to reach out to each other through this stupid little app where you can make 1 minute videos about your life is like it's been a lifeline. You're right, for a lot of people, man. Like, and myself included. You
Oh
know.
yeah, I mean, I think everybody that's on here looks at it that when you can tell when someone's here just because they think it's the thing to do
Mm,
versus the people that are here because it feels right, you know?
it does. I love the community that I've built there, and I think you're right about Instagram too. Like, yes, I use Instagram. Yes, I use Facebook, but I use them for the businesses that I manage. Like, I have clients who I do their social media for, and
Right.
that's all Facebook is going to be by November. It's going to be an advertising wasteland.
Yeah.
That's it. It's dying.
Yeah, the vibe's horrible there.
God, it's terrible.
Yeah. And it's a matter of time between this kind of moves along which is why I'm trying to take the moment and make something out of it that's long lasting. So that's what brings us to this conversation. So I'm putting together a list. So far, it's 25 people. I'm adding you into it. Um, it's called the Volunteer Political TikTok Army.
Hmm.
And what we're doing is I've had meetings, and it's doing more meetings with, like, one was with Run for Something and organizations where they need help with people, like doing whatever it is that needs to get somebody elected. Tell me about about Asbury Park Table.
Asbury Park Dinner Table, in a nutshell, is what was a 501c3 that I'm a co-founder of with Julie Andriola, Giuseppe Grillo, Kathy Kelly, and Russell Lewis. And we're just five schnooks from Asbury Park, and Joe likes to go, it's a ragtag group of idiots. And, we kind of are. And what we do is we take donations. We are purely donation based. We're a 501c3. None of us are getting a penny from this. Every single dollar goes to the restaurants in Asbury Park. They take the donations because the pandemic has been a cataclysm for a tourist town that is just coming out of a really bad situation that lasted about 3 decades. 5 decades, five. They take donations that we dole out. They make meals, like set meals, like they'll make a protein, a starch, and a vegetable. We in turn have 5 distribution points around town, the local churches and a few of the senior homes, distribute all that food to the people in need in town, because there is a really severe class divide here. So we have a homeless population, and we have people who are just food insecure because it's so expensive to live here so suddenly due to gentrification, that there's nobody. There are people who weekly have to choose between keeping the lights on and buying groceries, and it's so we're not going anywhere. The pandemic just kind of twisted that knife and really let it bleed. We all saw.
Well, I mean, at least you're doing something good for Earth. When did you start?
When did I join TikTok? When it began, but I didn't
No,
really
but when
post.
did you when
When did I
did you?
start? I can tell you actually the date. It was like December of 2020, and Asbury Park Dinner Table was on the ropes, and we didn't have enough funding to continue to feed people. And I was like, well, it. I have, 200 followers, and I'm going to make a persuasive video. So took, I drank a bunch of coffee and I recorded myself like 600 times spitting out all this information about Asbury Park Dinner Table. And I finally got one take that was decent. And I put it out there, and you could even tell I fucked up, like it's clipped at the end. And that got 34,000 views. That was on December 17th.
All the political TikTokers that I talk to, we have all kind of by accident had an impact on the November and January elections, especially on the January election, I think. Really engaged. We were all like doing it, but we were all doing it on our own room. And that's always like an issue with organizations and companies where everyone's in their own room doing stuff, and there's never just like one cohesive, let's at least agree to this, and then you can go off on your room and do whatever the fuck you want. So I spoke to I direct messaged her through Instagram. She emailed me. I was introduced to the head of her, outreach person. And I said, look, I can put together a couple of dozen awesome people who are really good and clear and have very good relationships with their followers, that if we decide to get behind a few candidates, sure, the Senate and the House, we want to keep blue. Like, duh, who doesn't? So,
Good
yes.
God, especially after CPAC, my Christ, what
No,
was that?
of course. But, the thing is that, yeah, of course, I mean, anyone that has a half a brain is going to want to keep the House and Senate blue.
Yeah.
Which will be part of what we're all going to be doing anyway, because we're crazed. But the other thing is, I want us to really get behind some down ballot races in key states, and get some diverse, new, fresh Democrats out into the public, because like we need to. The future of the party is not like Dianne Feinstein.
No, it's not. And the issue is so apparent in New Jersey too. We're like a microcosm for the rest of the country.
Right.
Everything bad that happens to the rest of the country happens in Jersey first. We're like the canary in the coal mine. If you see shit go down here, hold on to your butts. That's really what it is. We are so small but so diverse, and we're piled on top of each other that you really can take a dipstick reading off of what's going on here and find out what's going to happen 3 months later in the rest of the country.
Right.
So, good God.
So anyway, so I'm enlisting you. Although you don't have a tremendous amount of followers, you're part of this crew that I think is really needs representation in this process. You know, you're young, you're smart, you're funny, you speak really clearly. Yeah, so I'm adding you to the list.
Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. It is a hopeless time right now for a lot of people. And there is always someone or something that's going to pull people out of this, or pull you out of the situation you're in.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to stop flailing and just be still with yourself to like understand that. And
Mhm.
that's what I did. I took a breath and I sat still for a second. I was when I made that post about dinner table, it just seemed hopeless. And then just from TikTok, just from that, it was like $5,000 or something within a week.
Right.
That fed over 500 people and kind of gassed us up. And the only reason that we were able to get that grant is because we were able to show all of these donations and that it works.
Right.
With this two-pronged attack on both poverty and the complications caused by the pandemic.
Right. So the other way I can relate to that is I've through the project of the film, the Won't Be Silent film, that this is actually some abstract extension of, is that I believe that there's angels on earth. And I didn't for a long time. And I feel like, you know, the first 2 years of working on the film, people just started showing up with like extraordinary generosity and love and kindness. And I was like, and I could be a bitch, Miss Thing. And I was like, do I even deserve this?
You
But
really do
like,
question it, but yes, you do, by the way. Yes.
but I just kind of felt like the miracles do end up happening when you're not looking for them,
Right.
or when you're so needy of it that, whether you believe in God or not, it's just like, the planet aligns enough for things to kind of be clear enough that gets you back on the path, so whether it's a donation or someone who just says a kindness, I mean, it pertains to all of us in its own little way. All right, my darling, have a great night.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Well, bye.
We won't be silent.